Today, I asked ChatGPT if I should buy or sell NASDAQ. And believe it or not, it gave me the right information, but the wrong trade. In this video, we're gonna cover what information ChatGPT gave me that was correct, why it told me to look for NASDAQ to drop, and why I didn't listen to any of it and took buys instead. And thankfully, I didn't listen to it because I trade live every day with the traders inside Day Trading University. And if I had listened to ChatGPT's analysis, then this trader inside Day Trading University wouldn't have been able to post his first official 5-figure trade because he followed my analysis instead and he took the trade with us live. Let's start with what ChatGPT told me was correct. All I did was ask for a market update and it accurately described what happened at last week's Fed's interest rate decision. It updated me on tariffs and comments from the US Trade Advisor, and it accurately told a story of Trump firing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is just the bureau that collects all the data. After last week's NFP report came out with a big miss, Trump is accusing her of manipulating the data. And finally, it gave me a brief description of what happened and how the markets closed on Friday. It says here that equities like NASDAQ, Dow, US 30, SP 500 all dropped. And if we take a look at things like NASDAQ, we can see that there was a drop. I actually had a whole video on the NFP breakdown. You can check that one if you want to find out why NAS actually just consolidated here. But this is where it gets a little bit tricky. The next question that I asked ChatGPT is, what should my bias be for NASDAQ? Should I be looking for buys or sells today? And the answer from ChatGPT came down to this conclusion. Given the weak jobs data, which is NFP data from Friday, tariff uncertainty, and technical signals showing downside momentum, basically just talking about how Friday it dropped, your bias for NASDAQ should be cautiously bearish or neutral, looking into selling strength. So it says right here, looking into selling strength. What that means is when you see strength here, it's telling me to sell into it, expecting a pullback. So every time it pushes up, based on ChatGPT's analysis, I should be just looking for pullbacks and taking sells. So let's take a look at the charts. I'm gonna break down NASDAQ's price action candle by candle, and I'll explain exactly what was happening at that time in the markets. So we'll start by doing just a quick technical analysis or a little recap on NAS and what we're going into on Monday. So this is where NAS was at the market open. We can see here from NFP, we got what's called market fear because NFP came out way below expected, and we had that push to the downside. Now, I explained in my NFP video why this ended up not dropping more than that, and also why long-term, my bias is still looking for upside. But taking a look over at Asian session open, over here, we started to get a little bit of a push to the upside, and now we're just consolidating. So if I'm to follow ChatGPT's analysis, I should be looking for sells every time we push up, or if we break lower. All these areas should be a sell area for NAS. If we take a look at NAS here right at the market open and we start playing it forward a little bit, there was something that happened right around here at 8:15, 8:20. So I'll bring up Day Trading University's Discord and we'll look in the newsfeed. If you look at the time right here, at 8:14 a.m. Eastern time, we started getting the White House Senior Advisor Hassett speaking. Now, BLS data, this is what I was telling you earlier, Trump fired the people from BLS because saying that they were messing with the data, essentially. Basically, what he's saying right here is that the numbers from Friday, NFP's data, isn't true. Like, this is being manipulated. Now, at first, you really don't know how the market's gonna react to this, so I'm very cautious about this. But when we take a look at price action, this is what gave me the first sign that NAS wasn't gonna be bearish today and I wasn't gonna be looking for sells. This was the very next candle. And if we can find clips of the live call, I was trading this live with Day Trading University. I even called this as the first entry. So if we can find that, we'll play that here. We have the White House Senior Advisor speaking. The first closure on NAS in the 5-minute looks good. We're sitting right at support. A part of me wants to take it. I just think it's risky. And then let's play this out a little more. One more candle, the next candle, literally right to the next resistance area. Beautiful, beautiful trade. I normally don't like trading NASDAQ outside of the stock exchange open, but if there's headlines or data or reasons to take it, that would give me a reason to expect volume, that's when I'll take the trade. So this was the first entry on NASDAQ, which I did not take this one. A lot of the traders in the live call did, but I took a second entry and we'll break down that one next. We play out NASDAQ a little bit more. We hit this resistance. It looks like it wants to break. We end up getting a little bit of a pullback. This candle right here, if we take a look at this one at 8:55 a.m. Eastern time, I still not too sure what this was. If we can find the clip, I'll actually show you what this looked like when this came up because we were trading this live. I'm starting to see volume on NAS again. It's not like it's broken out or anything. And we have 5 minutes to the hourly. Yep, there it is. I fucking knew there was volume there. I don't know if we just got a headline again, but my fucking spidey sense must have been tingling or something. I had an alert here. It spiked up, and I still didn't want to take this as an entry. This was just kind of like random volume. One of the things I like to do when I see volume coming in like this is like, I'll immediately start looking at my news feeds And I want to see if there's anything important here that would be causing that move in the markets. Because if I'm going to be taking something with volume, I want there to be a reason for that volume. So this trade right here, not this trade, this push on NASDAQ, I wasn't taking this. There wasn't even any temptation there, even though there was volume. But if we play out NAS a little bit more, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to get to like right here, 925. This was the first time, and I can't even think of how long, that I entered a trade before the stock exchange opened. The reason I actually entered before the stock exchange opened, which realistically goes against like one of my strongest rules. Take a look at this headline right here. You can see the time, 9:27 a.m. Eastern. For those who don't know, stock exchange in the Eastern time zone is 9:30. So we have 3 minutes. European Union suspends trade countermeasures on the US by 6 months. I'll show you the recording of what NASDAQ did at the exact same time this headline came out, and you'll see where my entry was. EU to suspend, we just got a fucking trade headline now. EU to suspend trade countermeasures on the US by 6 months. Man, I hate to do this right before the stock exchange open. A part of me wants to go break even because this would be the smart thing to do. Another part of me is like, if that volume fucking hits it and then still takes off, I'm gonna be not happy. All right, I took partials. Fuck yeah. Damn, what a nice move. So if we take a look at NAS here, really, really, really monster moves. But if I was listening to ChatGPT this whole time, based on that analysis, right? Every single time I saw NAS push up in any of these zones, technically I should have just been selling it. Oh, look at this big wick, I should sell it. Oh, I should be taking sells up here because it broke structure. And every single time I would have been incorrect in doing so because there are things that are happening in real time, which you can see in these headlines, in these news feeds. This is how you stay on top of the markets, or at least this is how I stay on top of the markets. So it's my hope that showing you guys this stuff is actually what's moving the markets will open up that little box for you too, because that's what it took for me. I watched a video one time years ago on how interest rates impact gold, and it just opened up Pandora's box. And I was like, there really is something else that's moving the markets. And I can show it time and time again. There's almost always a headline or data or something that's making the markets move. This stuff isn't random. So I hope you guys find these videos helpful. I'll see you in tomorrow's market recap.